A husband fights tooth and nail against all odds to free his wife convicted of murder, and the only way is a daring escape. Hello there, welcome back to RealScreenReviews.com. I'm Nick Yakabuchi, and our next movie review is the film The Next 3 Days. This action thriller opened nationwide on Friday, November 20th, 2010, and it stars Academy Award winner Russell Crowe, the beautiful Elizabeth Banks, Liam Neeson, Brian Dennehy, and Jason Bigg. The Next 3 Days comes to us from Academy Award-winning filmmaker Paul Haggis, the man that brought us Crash, and the just as brilliant but highly overlooked In the Valley of Elah with Tommy Lee Jones. This time out, Mr. Haggis joins Mr. Crowe, and together they combine for one mainstream actioneer very reminiscent of the Steve McQueen thrillers from the 1970s, and even the movie poster radiates that era. Our tale begins telling us the story of John and Laura Brennan that are out and about having dinner with friends. After heading home, they turn in, and the next morning it introduces us to them and their son at breakfast. While enjoying an average day, their universe gets turned upside down when the Pittsburgh police literally break down the front door to serve an arrest warrant. The warrant is for Laura, whose boss was brutally murdered the evening before, and the justice that is served swiftly and harshly. We soon learn that no appeals, no evidence, and no hope is going to save John's wife from a very long prison term. Put simply and bluntly in the words of their attorney, she's not getting out. This film, like many, is told in 3 acts. The first part presents us with the backstory, labeling it The Last 3 Years. The story progresses and plunges our hero into a massive and strategic plan to break his wife out of prison, and this part comes together in what is called The Last 3 Months. During this segment, we meet Damon Pennington, successful prison escapee and author. Liam Neeson brings vibrant life to a very small but interesting and necessary character to our story. Through his insight, Russell Crowe's John must comprehend the intricacies of what it is going to take to do this. He's warned that escape is the easy part because staying free, now that is the hard part. John manages to stash passports, social security cards, driver's license, and travel plans, all surrounded by a plot to save Laura. After a failed suicide attempt by her, and also because the state is going to transfer her 5 hours away to a different facility, John has no choice but to hatch his scheme almost at a moment's notice. This is where the bullets fly, the car chases begin, and the details unfold in the last part called The Next 3 Days. While people, the best and strongest point of this film is that you always want to keep rooting for Russell Crowe. I've often thought how contradictory it is that Russell Crowe always plays these gentlemen for which you have a lot of compassion, because his personal life has never painted that kind of picture. However, his character of John Brennan is cemented in his commitment to his wife, so much so that he actually transforms as the film plays out. He goes on to do everything from a shootout with drug dealers, to setting fire to a meth lab, to leaving a dead body on the street, and this man metamorphoses from a simple father to a determined and tenacious animal that is dead set never to fail. Now, on the flip side, there are revelations in the story that made it difficult for me to side my sympathy with the Brennan family. As always, I won't give anything away, and I commend the fact that someone was trying something new with the tale that we've seen before, but some of these ideas were definitely not beneficial to the movie. Also, the absence of a musical score throughout about the first entire half of this feature did nothing to enhance its viewing pleasure. The use of chance and/or luck was used 1 or 2 times more than it needed to be, and it wasn't one-sided, but it was just far too evident. On a different note, I did appreciate the little Hitchcockian twist of their son being at the zoo later in the film, and that translates to mean that coincidence also found its way into the plot. The last third of the Next 3 Days is extremely thrilling, exciting, and very well crafted, but I just can't say the same for the entire running time. The movie does earn another positive with solid supporting performers, including the great Brian Dennehy as John's father, George. He brings a lot of sentiment and emotion, even to a scene where he only says just one word, that word being goodbye, and he can really convey quite a bit of emotion even with his facial expressions alone. The film reminded me of a champion chess player trying to figure out every single move that can be made by your opponent. It's like trying to consider every angle, every aspect, all the while thinking outside the box and under the worst of circumstances. You need to be ahead not by 1 step, but by 10, and it's the details that you know that will save your life and pave your way. At just over 2 hours, The Next 3 Days was easily a tad too long and had other issues that I just couldn't overlook. It is a fun movie that had more potential than what I saw, but it was far from perfect. I would say to catch this at your local discount theater, but don't rush out and plop down $12 to see this. I would tell you to go see Unstoppable, and if you've already seen Unstoppable, I would tell you to go see Unstoppable once again. Only 2.5 stars out of 4, and remember people, I'm not always right, only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.